it's not quite an A-move race, so to speak, as other ones can be, but that's not important. Let's get into this game. We discuss it after.
Alright, so spawning in the upper left-hand corner of the map. From the team Root Gaming, playing for Henry. What's he got in his special bag of tricks? It's Masa.
And his opponent in the lower right, they're calling him a patch Zerg, but he is a win Zerg as he just took out Hengelisk. It's the red Zerg coLgoswser representing Team Complexity. And I just want to say, I'm curious maybe if you run into this. When I read coLgoswser's name, I can't pronounce it. But because I know how to pronounce it, I just have to go with it, you know?
It was a terrible problem of mine early when I didn't know that that was actually supposed to represent two U's. So I was like, who is coLgoswser?
coLgoswser, yeah, exactly.
Who's coLgoswser?
So Masa, I mean, he's had the opportunity, I'm assuming, to practice with his fellow teammates like Scarlet and Hengelisk. So he's probably had his fair share of ZVT matchups. And, ooh, going for the sneaky barracks. We might just see some 2-racks, or I don't know what he'll be doing here. It's kind of an odd location to build for no reason.
Yeah, maybe if you can hide your barracks there, say the drone comes in through this route, doesn't see anything, just one SCV missing from the mineral line. You may assume that you may have brought one down here to go for that command center first. coLgoswser is opting to go for the, what appears to be 15 hatch. Alright. Feeling safe. If it was a 2-racks, it probably would have come by now.
Yeah, as you say, the second racks would be down. He'd be good to go. But what I'm thinking is maybe he's just hoping that, you know, coLgoswser will scout and be like, oh, okay, there's no barracks in the base. Crap. Prepare for, like, you know, some super rush, but the barracks being
a possibility for sure.
Oh, even lifted to the low ground. There's no way coLgoswser will scout this, even with the watchtower. And this could be some good mind gaming on ROOTMasa's part, because I mean, the prompt he responds to is be like, okay, there's 2 proxies. Find them right now, or like start overproducing units. And another SCV even being sent out, kind of make it look like that there's 2 bunkers on the way. Now, Doom, I do want to point out, I don't know if everyone knows about this, there's this cheeky little ledge over here in the southern base. You can stick a marine, you can stick a bunker, and there's no getting to that marine. Yeah, right, exactly where Masa's building it, so I mean, he can just... He didn't hide the marine. This is kind of some weird... Again, this is some weird mind gaming. Is every drone almost has been pulled. I shouldn't say every, but about, you know, 8 or 9 of these drones have been pulled to deal with this, and this was nothing more than just a 25 mineral investment. He just pulled so many workers for the cost of 25 minerals, even prompting a spine crawler. But he's actually gonna maybe continue with this. I'm not sure.
He tried to do that trick that you were talking about there, Rifkin, but he wasn't able to get it. And now with the spine crawler come up, this is going to definitely be thwarted. But will he actually try to continue pushing this?
Look at all these drones that have been wasting mining time. I mean, this is actually pretty big for Masa. Lots of circlings as well being prompted to be made. And coLgoswser still, he doesn't have confirmed vision of what happened at home. He got that barracks a little bit late. Command center being put down at the main. Another as well, so 3 barracks early on. Masa going to take a very early economy lead.
It was a very interesting rush there. It didn't actually get to do a whole lot of damage, but if you look at coLgoswser's vision from what he had seen before, he just saw that 1 barracks on the low ground. So there was certainly the potential for another barracks to be joined up with that. He didn't get the opportunity to scout it though. On the other hand here, Masa is opting, yes, for the 3 command centers, but is he actually going to have enough units to defend against something that coLgoswser can potentially come at him with here? coLgoswser, looking at his drone count, though, is actually lower in SCVs at this point, Rifkin.
Yeah, but I mean, that's only going to be for a little while.
Double gas here for Masa as well.
But all these circlings are broken up by the slowlings. Masa with 5 marines can easily out-micro these.
Did he cancel that bunker by the mineral line? It looks like... I thought he was building it up there for a second, but...
No, he's kind of forced to. The circlings would have taken it down either way, but that command center being lifted. The 3rd orbital now coming into play, kicking his economy off in high gear. And once those mules start mining Doom, I mean, he's just going to put coLgoswser's economy to shame.
Yep. It's definitely possible, but okay, this barracks or this bunker placement makes a little more sense now here with this 3 barracks wall coming up. It is actually going to be reactored Hellions in the main base. That's what it appears to be, in addition to this 3 orbital command.
Well, a couple of Hellions is really nice. You get about 3 or 4 on the field. You know, you just kind of roam around, stop creep, poke around with the drone line if you can. But most likely, Masa will just transition into tanks off of this.
Wow, so one thing, actually, I don't know if was mentioned is that coLgoswser doesn't have any gas. Just now getting 4 extractors in total, 2 at his main, 2 at his natural. And on the other side here, Masa has had his gas up for a very long time. He's got the potential to do a lot of tech, and in fact is going to add on 2 engineering bays. So definitely wants to get his upgrades up, and this looks like it's going to be primarily Bio with some Hellions mixed in. Definitely the route. Queen's trying to spread a little bit of creep out. Zergling's just kind of chilling. Gonna now see the Hellions move across the map, and
I really like Masa's choice of 2 engineering bays at the top, where these rocks will eventually be knocked down. This creates a very sturdy wall, definitely a lot stronger than supply depots.
Yep, stim on the way. +1 now being started for both armor and attack weapons. This Hellions doing a good job at taking the map control away from coLgoswser in here. coLgoswser doesn't feel too comfortable. He's got a couple of lings danced about. Overlord that spots the fact that the natural is mining a lot. That's a lot of SCVs there at the natural all of a sudden for the Terran player. And looking at the harvester count here, 43 SCVs to 48 drones. Hellions going to try to poke up into the main here, but there's just going to be too many lings if they decide to move any farther.
Yeah, both Masa actually a little supply blocked right now, but not really a big deal. 2 supply depots are about to kick in. And like we saw Gonzi, he was really shut down with his drops. I mean, there was just literally the few drops that got in were killed immediately by the spore crawlers. I would like to see Masa be able to get some off, especially on a map like Ohana. But these Hellions are doing a great job at limiting that creep spread. I mean, the Queens can't really push out, and if they do, they're kind of vulnerable to be poked at and ran away. But there's a hell of a lot of Zerglings that are starting to move out, Doom.
Yep, and drops could be good here in this situation, Rifkin. But if he's gonna use the drops, he's gonna have to do something else to follow it up there. We saw Gonzi doing a push out into the middle to take out creep when his drop hit. But it looks like Masa's just gearing up for one super large attack.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This is 2 base Zerg, which I'm putting a big question mark next to, because I'm not too sure what's going on through coLgoswser's mind. Like, is he preparing for something that Masa has coming, or is he just going for a general strategy? Right now, though, Masa, I mean, again, he's got that 3rd command center. He can lift it up. Yeah, it has been lifted. He's going to start transitioning it over. Those rocks are going to come down, but he's moving out with dropship that will be spotted by the Zergling, albeit briefly.
There's a Viking moving around the back to try to take out any overlords that are available. So again, seeing Vikings making their presence in the TVZ matchup, cool to see, full show. But the longer that this army gets built up for the Terran player, and the longer that the Zerg is not mining from a 3rd base, now okay, even resorting to long distance mining to get that extra mineral income, it's gonna be more of a bad time. There's 63 drones out on the map right now, and he's just not getting the fully optimal mining that he wants to have at the 12-minute mark.
And one big downside too is like, whereas Gonzi was very far ahead in upgrades throughout the entire game, Masa is lacking. He hasn't even started his 2-2 yet. Only just getting the vehicle weapons, which again you do need. It will one-shot Zerglings, of course, that will help with the slaughter, but the Marines, they need that bulk, they need the beef, and they need those upgrades.
Yeah, rather than the 2-2, he's actually added on 2 additional factories to his complete infrastructure here. So, curious to see if he's going to actually drop tech labs down, and he is going to drop tech labs down on there. So, I'm wondering if that's for, like, mass siege tanks.
Yeah, I mean, if you lose those 4 or 5 tanks you've built up over time in one engage, you have to be able to reproduce those. If you don't get those back on the map like immediately, coLgoswser's just going to run all over you. And oh man, this one, okay, I was gonna say that's a large Zerg army to scout with, but he does peel one off. Sees that okay, the 3rd base is up. There's not a huge force there though.
Is there Spire done for coLgoswser? Because he's almost got Hive completed here, Rifkin.
No, I think he skipped over the Spire, just did Infestation, but oh, Masa.
Okay. Oh.
Well, I was gonna say he's getting the planetary, the forward planetary, and this will be absolutely great if he could bait coLgoswser into a fight at home. But I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. Especially, as you said, and pointed out, the Ultralisks are now, or sorry, the Cavern is on the way, so we will have Ultralisks entering the field at some point.
Yeah, and we're also going to have 3-3 from the Zerg player, it looks like, immediately after 2-2 finishes, which could be very significant considering Masa doesn't actually have 2-2 done yet.
Some nice tank snipes on these Infestors, though, losing 2 of them nearly full energy as well. But unfortunately, losing the tanks to the Zerglings, Fungal shutting down those Marines, and kind of an awkward trade, both players losing quite a few.
coLgoswser in a severe supply deficit right now. Looking at the Unit County Station, he doesn't have a whole lot of lanes.
He's pushing up. He's trying to get away. Oh, some mules coming down? Question mark? I guess trying to maybe, bait out those Zergling auto attacks. Very nice.
I don't think that was for bait. I think that was a in-your-face type of thing, man. I think he's feeling super confident right now with what he's got.
Maybe. I'm trying to play it up like maybe he's a stand-up guy, though, okay?
He's even mining with them right now. Look at this.
Well, the mules, right? I mean, the mules, if he gets home with these, that'll be like the ultimate victory. Even if he loses the game, he can say, you know what, I got like 40 whatever minerals from you, no problem. But these Marines being rallied forward aren't going to be able to take out the base. These 2 Marines, they're still going to town, and coLgoswser's kind of ignoring them. And, I mean, sure, they don't do a lot of damage, but if left unchecked long enough, he's, well, being joined by a 3rd, might actually take out this base.
There was a drop in the main as well, too, where a bunch of drones went down. It does look like 34 workers killed in total for ROOTMasa in this game, which is pretty wild. But looking at the Union lost and the resources here, they're somewhat even, actually, in terms of resources lost throughout the game.
coLgoswser, though, is behind on drones at this point, which is something notable to point out. But with those Ultralisks popping, those Marines were kind of like, okay, yeah, that's not happening.
And I wonder how he's going to adjust here in seeing the Ultralisks. He's got a ton of barracks with reactors on them.
Yeah, not many tech labs. He's not going to have Marauders on the field. His anti-Ultralisk army is going to consist only of tanks. I mean, he's got that planetary again. He's got some random barracks placed in the map. But the planetary is not quite finished. It should any second. He's got to keep it alive. Starting to shell away at the Ultralisk. Marines coming from behind, but those Fungals are going to keep most of them back. The tanks are not in range of these Ultralisks, unfortunately. But the planetary will push this back. And coLgoswser are actually losing. Not really getting the high end of that engage, just picking off Marines, really, not even SCVs.
Nope, you don't want to lose Ultralisks. You don't want to lose Ultralisks at all. The objective is to barrel through with the Ultralisks, destroy everything with them. They have great splash damage, can do awesome against bio that's clumped up to with Fungals, but I don't know. And coLgoswser didn't land the Fungals they needed to get those Ultralisks in on everything, and the planetary stays alive. Rifkin, Masa's on 4 bases. I mean, coLgoswser just gets his 4th up now. This isn't looking too good for our
those tanks, Doom, are all out of position. He's going to be coming in from the behind trying to catch this. Some barracks being put down trying to sort of distract the Ultralisks, I guess, doing their job, but man, Ultralisks versus buildings are pretty good.
Is he going to focus it down?
Oh, I would love for him to catch Infestors on the way out, though. The siege tanks are sieged and in position. Oh, but he's just showing away at the Ultralisks instead, so not going to be able to get any of those Infestors. Rather unfortunate, but he did lose the command center, so good push by coLgoswser, but he's still down in supply.
Yeah, man, that was really stressful. There's a clump of bio here at the 3rd base that was stuck on a mineral patch. So I'm wondering if maybe that was in the composition, if Masa would have had better luck in that engagement. But as it is, I believe his army supply, yes, is about 40 supply, higher than what coLgoswser currently has right now. His upgrades are about to catch up to the Zerg with +3 just about to finish up. And this isn't looking too great for coLgoswser from a supply perspective, and from a straight positioning perspective here, it's getting worse and worse for him. Rifkin, he doesn't have the Broodlords up.
He's losing
the Marauders are making their way on the map, and this is just, the creep's getting receded here. This is just turning into a slow, painful death.
There was a huge window of opportunity where, I mean, Broodlords would have just destroyed this game, because as you point out, I mean, there wasn't a lot of Marauder production. It was just, as soon as you put all those barracks on and tried to make that swap, continue with the Ultralisks. Now we see a ton of Marauders on the field with tanks. There's not a lot of anti-air, just the Marines.
Drop the 3rd is going to take out, not going to take out the Queen. Going to target down the hatchery here, and will lift up.
Does kill a lot of workers to force the rest off. I mean, checking it out, almost 60 workers have been killed this game, Doom.
Yep, and these are great distraction tactics, because now Moss is moving in towards the actual 4th base of coLgoswser, which is going to fall. And now sitting at a 4 base to 3 base deficit, coLgoswser is on his back foot now. Passing off of his heel, trying to jab off of his back foot. I don't know, Rifkin, man. How many sports analogies can I make to say he's behind?
Catchphrase. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, look at this ROOTMasa. I mean, he's not even cleaning up the creep. But I mean, the reality is he doesn't have to. He's just got such good map presence. It doesn't matter whether coLgoswser knows whether he's there or not. I mean, just straight Ultralisks is all he's remaxing on, and they're quite a bit slower than Zerglings. So these drops are going to become more and more effective.
The drop on the main is going to get cleaned up by these Infestors, comboed by Infested Terrans.
Yeah, I'm surprised we're actually not seeing more Infestors out of these players, but I guess it's kind of hard to utilize with these siege tanks zoning them out.
Masa's actually got to be careful here in being cost efficient with his units. The Infestors have a lot of energy on them.
Oh, and
this is a ton of Ultras, man.
They're going to be forced to fight in a very unfortunate choke. Look at them.
What's happening?
It's the AI of these big clunky units, Doom. They're trying to push up, but they just can't. It's so many Infested Terrans coming down on those tanks. And coLgoswser trying to turn this around a bit. His income, though, his economy is just non-existent. So if these Ultralisks are cleaned up, so will coLgoswser. That
was the biggest pool of blood I've ever seen on a StarCraft 2 map. All the Infestors get targeted down immediately by the tanks. Now there is bio-flooding in here, but
I'm shocked we're not seeing Queens assist these Ultralisks. Some transfuses here or there. I mean, like, it would just shut this down entirely. But as you said, without those Infestors, this drop coming towards the main, there's nothing to stop it. Ultras are barreling away at the 4th base of Masa, but SCV's repairing are pretty cool. They are barely keeping this planetary fortress alive, dude.
I really like going after the infestation pit in the main. A good tactic to use. Take out the tech structures. Make coLgoswser put some of his minerals toward actually having to rebuild his tech here. Masa is expanding over to his 5th base. A Ling is going to spot this, though, for coLgoswser.
I mean, this is still an intense army for coLgoswser. Neither of these players are maxed anymore.
And Masa actually isn't aware that coLgoswser is trying to take his 4th over here on the left side of the map, but I'm sure he can assume that at this point. Some SCVs are going to come down to repair this planetary fortress, but will the Lings actually get some good kills off over here?
Oh man, the tanks were not quite sieged up, but there's just too many Marauders and not enough Zerglings. And more importantly, not enough Infestors.
No, that was a scary engagement there. I'm surprised coLgoswser actually tried to push forward a little bit. He should try to go defensive, take 2 bases, and try to get himself back in the game, but I'm not really sure that's going to work out either for him.
coLgoswser, too, I just want to point out, he doesn't really have any Queens out. They were all picked off by these drops, and his larva count is suffering because of that, Doom. Ooh. There's been no injects going on for the last 10 minutes.
Well, that'll do it, man. If anything's going to do it, not having a bank, not having a larva to turn back to, if the Terran army can come in here and be cost efficient, we should see something. But this is actually turning into, dare I say it, a base trade? No? Yes?
He can try. Again, this planetary will fall so quickly, but Masa has the other planetary on the opposite side of the map. He's mined so much from this base. These Ultras are a strong hit squad, there's no question about it, but that's about it, because he can't push into this army. If he engages the army, he will straight up lose that fight. And yeah, as the comment, 14 Ultralisks are currently on the field, guys. There's so many Ultralisks.
Alright, so the planetary does look like it's the next target attack.
The Infestors in the back are getting picked off by the Marauders. The concussive shell are keeping them so far away from the rest of the army. And, oh man, these Ultralisks, I don't know, both players now with very little to no mining going on. Both of they have very little bank and economy to follow this up, but these Ultras will die, Doom. And again, that larva count is going to kick coLgoswser in the butt. Only 12 larvae right now to max on. Not going to happen.
Yep, and here comes the victory march. Even Ultra saying, hey, oh, what did you do?
Tips to everyone out there, let's hear it. Don't play the music. Oh, I thought he was going to comment on the Queens. Well, coLgoswser bowing out. GG. It's a 3-1 now for Henry, guys.